Welcome everyone to our second VIP World Assistive Tech lesson. My name is Ali and I am the Digital Marketing Executive. Present today from the VIP World team, we have Ola, who is our User Experience Accessibility Designer. We have Ishan, who is the Chief Design Officer and founder of VIP World. And of course, our Assistive Tech Tutor, Nicole Moore, who will be leading today's session on how to navigate Zoom with a screen reader. This is an interactive workshop, and of course, you have the chance to participate within the lesson. Likewise, if you have any further questions at the end, please do note it down so we can kind of discuss it at the end. So let's begin. Over to you, Nicole.
Thanks, Ali, and thanks everyone for coming today. So as Ali mentioned, this session is going to be quite interactive, so there'll be plenty of time for comments and questions throughout. What we'll be going through today, I'll just give you an outline. So we'll talk about what is Zoom, and then we'll go more into how to access it with a screen reader. And I'll share some hints and tips, and maybe we could have a discussion at the end because yeah, going through the year that we've just gone through, you've probably all used Zoom a little bit. And so we thought, well, yeah, you will have been able to come here today to join this meeting. We thought we would review some of the basics if you're using a screen reader with Zoom, but also some of the other things that you can do with Zoom. So it's quite powerful. You can join an audio or video meeting, but there's lots of other things you can do while you're in that meeting, which you may or may not have heard about. So let's do a quick review of what is Zoom. We're probably all quite aware of it, but it's essentially a audio and or video meeting tool. So you're able to schedule meetings, invite participants, and then be quite interactive with them in a call. So yeah, it's essentially a meeting tool. You can collaborate quite a bit, especially if you're using a PC or a Mac. And so I was wondering if anyone wants to share any sort of either funny stories or challenges they've had just with Zoom, and maybe when you started to use it, was there something that was really challenging, or did you have a really embarrassing situation? Yeah, anyone want to share?
And the embarrassing, can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the embarrassing thing is when we were looking for the ID and the code and ID, because for people who can see it's easy, but for people who cannot see, and we were from group to group complaining about this, and each time we have to to call someone in order to help us with these things.
Yes.
But thank you. Now everything is okay for some groups like yours, for example, and for blind aids, for ADKC, but there is some as well to whom when I need to go, I need to change every time the code, and
Yeah. We'll talk about that a bit more in a moment. Anyone else want to share anything?
Well, hi, Ishan here. Once I guess I'm a sighted person, and once I started a meeting and I gave the link of another meeting and I was waiting. Why are you not here? And they were like, yeah, we are here. But then it took half an hour to realize that I started a different meeting and it was very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, my most embarrassed or stress-evoking situation was, how do I look on camera and how is the camera positioned? And yeah, that's always a little bit scary for me when I first started with Zoom. Anyone? Yep, was that a question?
It's not a question, but it's like, because you said as well funny things, because what we heard about Zoom in the first time we wanted to use it, don't use it, because it's taking information, and you will have problems with your bank. You will have problems with, you know,
Oh,
different.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but later everyone is using it.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to move on to joining a meeting now, and just wanted to recap. There's probably 3 different ways to do this. So for me, I'm also a screen reader user, if I haven't mentioned it already. Sorry, I'm a VIP myself. And the way that I find easiest is to click on the link that the person sent you. So generally that's the way I do it. And then it may or may not ask for that passcode. So I know in this room, for example, we've turned off the passcode so that you no longer need to enter those digits. But it depends how the host or the person organizing the meeting has set it up. The other way that you can do it is to type in the meeting ID. So it's usually like 11 or 12 digit ID and then a passcode. So if you don't have the join link, you can do that. And the other way is dialing in by phone. So if your computer or your smartphone just won't let you join, you can call a number. The audio isn't as good a quality as if you're using your smartphone or a computer, but it's better than nothing. And it's sometimes the easiest way to join a meeting.
Yeah, I tried that one, but I didn't like it actually.
Yeah, and actually, if you're using a smartphone with a screen reader like VoiceOver or TalkBack, sometimes dialing in can be a little tricky if you're using one of those automated systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to go through some things or settings to check before you join a meeting. I think for us as visually impaired people, you know, it's important to be in control before you join, and so that you can join, you know, meetings or gatherings of friends, whatever it might be, in a relaxed way. So there are a few settings that you can change to make sure that, for instance, your camera is always off when you join a meeting and your microphone is always off when you join. That just means that, like, there's no panic when you join the meeting. You can manually unmute, turn on your camera, and it just means that, you know, you can be more relaxed. You know exactly when you're speaking or when your camera is on and that sort of thing. The other thing I wanted to mention for those of us who are using smartphones, when you join a Zoom call, it might ask you to use your smartphone audio or dial in by a phone call. You can turn this setting off, and that just takes away that extra step of confirming, yes, I want to join by I think it calls it computer audio. So that just reduces the number of steps you need to join in to a meeting. Okay. So with the settings in the Zoom app on a PC, there's a button called setting. I don't know why Screen Reader pronounces it wrong, or maybe it's written that way. And that's where you'll find all of your Zoom settings. So before you join a meeting, go in there and into the meeting settings, and you'll be able to make it so that you're always muted and your video is always off when you join a call. And similarly, on the smartphone app, it's the settings button at the bottom right-hand corner, and then meeting settings. And I believe the first option is audio join type. And so you can go in there and make sure that your computer audio is selected.
Oh, so you can preset it?
Yes, you can. So it means that you don't just join a meeting. Like if you've got background noise, yeah, you can choose when you unmute, and it's really handy.
Right. Thank you. That's useful.
All right.
Sorry.
What? Yep. Go ahead.
I see. David, you have raised your hand. You have a question.
Yeah. It's just a quick one. I'm not using a computer or my handset. I'm using my tablet actually to use the system,
Okay.
which I've got to be honest is better for me, mainly because the size of the screen.
Yes.
And also getting in, so the buttons are quite easier for me to see on a bigger screen. Unfortunately, I don't have my smartphone is too small. It's a Samsung, but I've got a Samsung tablet, and I must admit, getting into the meetings now, now I'm used to using it, is a lot better.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
If people have got a tablet, it's worthwhile considering that if they're having trouble using their phone or maybe their PC.
Yeah, especially if you are using it visually, a tablet is much better, much easier.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go through the Zoom app on the computer. How many of us use that one, or how many of us have a computer and use Zoom on it?
I do.
Sometimes I do, but I do it on my iPad all the time.
Okay.
But sometimes on the laptop. And today I did it on my mobile because just in case I go out in a moment.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was going to do was show you how the NVDA screen reader works with the computer app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think should we do that, Ishan, or should we do a smartphone type?
You know, all of them are good for us, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever you start with, ask people actually, and
Maybe start with smartphone, because I think most of us are.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Okay, how are we going to do this? All right. So I'm going to plug in my hang on. Okay. I'm going to let you guys hear the audio from my smartphone. Hopefully this works. Sorry, this is not going to work very well. Right.
Folder, radio/news/TV. Error, wallet, object, social folder, 10 apps, 18 new items. Clubhouse, Facebook, TeamTalk, Twitter, Twitterific, Zoom.
Ola, it's too much
Zoom, air, button.
fast.
Yes, sorry. Okay, so can you hear that already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
P.
guys, I didn't
Speaking
realize.
very
Yep, I'm
quickly.
definitely going to slow it down.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
Thank you.
Have you been using my hearing my screen reader audio through all that? Can you
Yeah.
hear when I'm?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I apologize. I didn't realize.
No, it's
Headings.
okay.
Words.
No, it shouldn't be.
Speaking rate.
Sorry.
70, 66, 50%.
Okay.
Yeah, 50%.
Yeah.
Whatever was
Meeting.
50%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
speed. Okay.
Oh, the speed. All right.
All right. I don't know whether I can share my phone screen. Let's try.
Are you going to be doing that as the speaker? Or as the host or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
try.
Oh,
So that
there you
you
go.
can see my.
Nicole is screen sharing now.
Yeah, but the host or speaker then has the majority of the screen, and the rest of us are tiny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tiny little bit. Yeah.
Start a chat.
Okay. All right. So I don't know whether are you viewing my computer screen there or my phone? Is it?
It doesn't say, does it? It just says
Probably.
screen sharing. It doesn't say
Yeah.
what.
Toby Towers, Control Center, Blue Media, Hit Wallet, Voice Memo, Note, Torch,
While viewing.
Screen Mirroring, Button. In progress, in progress,
Hopefully this works.
in progress, Zoom Nicole Moore, Button, Zoom Nicole Moore. Screen Mirroring, Zoom Nicole, Zoom.
Air render.
Okay. Hopefully this is.
Apple TV, but
Oh,
Screen Mirroring, Heading, Apple, Selected, Zoom Nicole Moore, Button. Selected, Zoom. Zoom Nicole, Torch, Switch.
all right. I'm
Zoom,
not sure
pair,
if,
button.
if it's coming up on the screen with the Zoom app. Possibly not.
You are
Um,
viewing Nicole Moore's screen, and it's on
Yeah,
a
but
shared screen,
think
but it's
It's
blank.
my- yeah. Oh, hang on 1 second.
Screen curtain off.
That will do
Ah,
it.
there you go.
Okay, here we
There
are.
you go.
Apologies.
That's your
Um,
screen curtain then.
My screen curtain, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is essentially the main screen of the Zoom app.
Yeah.
And on the bottom right-hand corner, so I tap
Tab bar, settings, tab,
the bottom right of my screen to bring up the settings.
Nicole Moranzum, 3.
That's just my Zoom account. So what you can do is you don't need to sign up to Zoom with an email, but you will need to if you want to host a meeting. So you'll just have to sign up with your email address and a password. There's a free level, but there's also paid levels if you want to do meetings of more than a certain amount of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise you don't have to
Meetings,
sign up. But here we've got some
auto
meeting
connect to
settings.
audio settings, meet, auto connect
So
to
this
audio,
is the auto connect to audio setting that I was talking about. So if we go in here, just double tap on
cancel,
that,
button,
you've got a few different options.
auto, done, off,
Off. So that means I'll be prompted every time I join a Zoom call to say, do you want to join by audio or do you want to dial in as it's a phone call? So I've
selected, use internet,
selected use internet. So my meetings just connect from my smartphone straight away.
done, auto, done, button,
Okay. And
auto,
just a few more
always mute, always
settings here.
mute my microphone, switch button, on,
Always mute my microphone. So
Ah,
that
right. That's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so that's a really good one to have on.
Yeah.
So you can just unmute when you're ready.
Yeah.
always turn off my video, switch
And
button,
always turn
on,
off my video is the same thing, but with your camera. So you enable your video when you're ready.
Yeah.
always turn off my video, always show video preview, always
Video
show video
preview.
mirror my video,
Isn't so important for us.
auto copy invite link, automatically copy it,
If you're a host, you can automatically copy the meeting link. So if you wanted to share it with someone else, you could quite easily do that.
Invite link.
So that's the join link.
settings, back button,
All right, and if we go back,
setting, meetings,
most of the other settings you probably won't need to worry too
contact
much
chat, general, button,
about. If you do create a Zoom account, you can link your contacts on Zoom. So that may be an easier way to invite people, but yeah, it's not necessary as long as you've got their email address or a phone number. That is a simple way to just invite participants. All right, I'm going to
tab bar, selected,
see if I can join this meeting with my phone. I think that's going to be a better way to do this. Right, I'm just going to stop screen sharing for 1 second.
Meeting controls.
selected, settings, tab, Zoom,
Recording stop. VIP. What? Please wait.
Okay. So now my audio is coming through my phone. Apologies, but this is probably going to be a better way. And one that you can all relate to, because I don't want to do a demo on the computer if sorry, this is tricky. Apologies, guys. Technology should be easy to set up.
Yeah, it can be a
Not
pain.
always.
I have never found technology easy.
Okay, especially with Zoom, because it doesn't let you just automatically share your phone screen. Let's see if we can do this again.
Right.
Okay.
Everything on your screen.
All right. So now, are you viewing my screen?
Yes.
Maybe not yet.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Are you hearing my audio as well?
No. Well, I can't hear any audio.
No.
Let's see if we
I
can.
can't either.
Oh no, it has audio off. Actually, I can see it at the bottom.
Okay. Are you getting audio now?
No.
No.
I am, yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, we can hear you, but we can't hear the audio of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, Nicole,
Yeah.
but not
Okay,
the
I can hear what you're
screen
saying,
audio. It says it's turned microphone off. It says.
All
There,
right.
there you go. It's on now.
Yeah. So you can hear me, but I'm.
Oh, I see. We still can't hear.
Can you hear my audio, my voiceover?
No.
No.
Right then. Okay, you have to laugh sometimes, right?
Yeah, don't worry.
Things don't always go to plan.
Yeah.
However,
I don't usually laugh. I usually throw something.
well, yeah, that too, but maybe later.
I'll get aerated with yourself. I do.
All right,
Not good.
that's all right. Let's,
Maybe Nicole, you can try the desktop.
yeah, let's do that.
It'll be easier, right? I mean, yeah, mobile phones.
And look, a lot of the settings are the same, and the ways that you use it at least. So bear with me 1 second.
Right.
Stream broadcasting.
Ah,
All right, back.
there we go.
Live broadcast to Zoom. Okay. Button. Go to live broadcast. Okay. Button.
Can hear it now.
WhatsApp. Active.
Yeah. So, but then I won't be able to demonstrate.
WhatsApp active.
Yeah. All right. We're just going to have to go to the desktop. And once we figure out how to properly do a demo with the iPhone, we'll do one of those. All right. So I'm going to share my screen on the desktop.
Meeting controls window. You are viewing S.
Wow.
All right. Have you got my screen reader audio
Mute.
now?
Currently unmuted.
We've got the
Yeah.
audio and we've got a screen with hundreds of whatever they're called on it. Oh, your marriage certificate there, Nicole.
End meeting or leave meeting. Mute.
All right, let me try again. Apologies, guys. Let me just share this window.
Take your time, Nicole. No issues. Sorry for the heartbreak, guys. She's married.
Yeah, she has a certificate on the screen to prove it.
It shouldn't have been there. Apologies. Okay. There should be a window option, right? Ishan or Ali?
So you want to share your screen, right?
Yeah.
And when you share your screen, there'll be multiple windows.
Yes.
So probably tab will help you to move around.
Yeah, because I've always had like a.
Mute.
Okay, let's try.
Zoom window. Setting button.
Have you got the Zoom window now?
Restore on minimum maximize Zoom window.
Zoom window.
Where's the Zoom?
Yeah, it's okay for the non-visual, but
No, these are not.
I just want you to see the meeting controls.
Audio settings drop.
Audio settings.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah, the
it's
audio
okay.
setting is fine.
So are you seeing all my video and my mute buttons and things now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's what we want.
Mute. Currently unmuted. Alt plus a
right.
button.
So it's like we need to see it then.
We've just got some visual people in the audience, and yeah, they would like to see what I'm doing as well. But yeah, we'll demonstrate with the screen reader.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So with all the controls in Zoom, they're what we call toggles. So your mute and your video, you would press the space to mute or unmute, and then do that same action again, and it will turn it on or off. So if I'm
audio settings mute, currently unmuted.
So it's saying currently unmuted. If I hit the space bar, it will unmute me. And the same thing with your video.
Audio settings.
I tab through the options.
Stop video left paren.
And I get to
Alt plus V right
video,
paren.
and it's telling me, it gave me something in brackets there. It said left paren Alt V. So I've also got some shortcut keys that I can press on the keyboard to quickly turn on or off my video as well. So Alt A is to mute and unmute, and Alt V is for the video. So generally the way you would access Zoom on Windows is by tabbing through the controls, and then the space bar generally opens them or turns them on or off.
Sorry, Aura, is this on the computer or on the smartphone?
Sorry, this is on the computer.
Oh, okay.
If you're on the smartphone, you would swipe to, like, you've got to mute and unmute and double tap that to activate it, and the same thing for your camera. The first time you do it, it might ask you, especially with the camera, that it needs access to your camera. But yeah, from then on, it's just a matter of double tapping the buttons. So what can happen, and this is something quite important for screen reader users, is you can be in a meeting, we've probably all experienced this, and it keeps saying this person joined, this person left, this person put whatever in the chat. So all sorts of information is coming through while you're trying to listen to a meeting. And there are some Zoom settings on the PC that you can change. Unfortunately, on a smartphone, you can't really do much to stop the chats coming through. But you can mute your voiceover or talkback speech. So for voiceover, it's a 3-finger triple tap to mute it so that you're not hearing everybody
Don't hear the
join
voice
and
over
leave.
there,
And
shut it
yeah.
off.
But on the computer, if we
Zoom
go
row 1
into
setting.
the Zoom screen, the main Zoom screen,
Setting button.
and the setting button,
Settings window.
and we've got a window here.
Ah, right, yes.
List. General
with
selected.
lots of different categories. So I'm going to arrow down through
Videos,
them.
audios, share screen, chat selected. Background and recording, profile,
right at the bottom
statistics, keyboard short, accessibility selected.
Is accessibility. And in here,
Start Zoom when I start
can,
Windows checkbox not checked.
there's a few different options. Oh, hang on.
List. General keyboard accessibility
Okay,
selected.
I need to hit the space bar
Space.
to select it.
Slider font
Now,
size.
we've got a
Captions will
whole
look.
load of different options.
Chat display size.
And
Restore
the main ones
defaults
we
but
want to look
screen
at.
reader alerts list.
Screen reader alerts. So I'm in like a list of items. And now if I arrow down, you'll hear the types of alerts that I will get.
I am chat received. Check selected.
That's a I am chat. So that's a chat message received, and it said selected. So that means that I'm going to receive any chats that come through in the meeting from anyone else in the meeting. If I hit the space bar,
Unchecked alert.
it said unchecked. So that's not selected, which means that I'm not going to get any chats that come through. So that can be a good thing to do if you just, you've got enough audio happening in the meeting. You don't need to be disrupted by the screen reader. But obviously, if you do want to receive the chat messages, you can turn those on.
Checked alert.
But there's a lot of different other options.
Participant has joined / left
so
meeting left
participant has
parent.
joined or left the meeting. If you don't want to hear about all that, you can unselect that.
Participant has joined / left waiting room left parent.
And the waiting room, which we'll get to in a moment.
Audio muted by host. Video
Some of
stopped
these
by
things
host.
you don't need to worry about, but just so you know, yeah, there's this whole list. So if you're using it on a computer or someone you know is using it there, yeah, please tell them to come into this list and toggle anything that they don't want to hear while they're in a meeting off.
Screen sharing.
Just by using that space bar. The other quick thing I wanted to tell you about with the desktop app.
Chat display size left parent. Captions will look like this. Slider fonts list. Accessibility. Keyboard shortcuts. Space.
Now
Learn more
these
enable.
are available to everyone. But yeah, we've basically covered the main ones. So Alt-A to mute
Keyboard
and unmute. Alt-V for your video. Alt-Q to leave the meeting. So this just means that you don't have to find the mute button. You can just press Alt-A anywhere in the Zoom window and it's going to mute you, for example. If you're on your smartphone, obviously you'll need to, there's no getting out of, there's no shortcuts on a smartphone. You're just going to have to swipe. But yeah, on the computer, this is really great.
Restore defaults button.
And you can
learn more enable list. Keyboard learn more enable global shortcut button.
Okay, enable global shortcuts. If you enable this, it means that you can use the Zoom shortcuts anywhere on your computer. So even if you're in a different application, you might be in Outlook, you could press Alt-A to mute or unmute yourself. So if you're in a meeting but you're doing something else, you can enable this global shortcut thing. I probably wouldn't recommend it very much for screen reader users because it can get mixed up with other shortcuts that we need to use, but still it's an option if you're doing something else. If you might be working in a document and in a meeting and you can just press your Zoom shortcuts while you don't have to navigate back to Zoom. The other thing is the participants list. I'm going to get out
Stop
of this
video.
settings window now, and I should be
Video
back
settings.
in the Zoom meeting window. So I've got a lot of controls
Open
on
participants
this
panel.
screen.
More options for participants drop down. Open participants panel.
Okay, I
10
can
participants.
open participants panel, and it gives me a lot of information about the participants in the meeting.
Participants.
And I can arrow through, use a down arrow.
I've lost that screen again.
Right.
I've gone back to your whole
my cluttered desktop.
Zoom window.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you had it
Came
then.
on
And
and
then
off again. It flashed on and off, didn't it?
Okay.
yeah, what else have you got?
Setting
That's
button.
the Zoom window.
System sub.
Got
Zoom
some
window.
interesting things in there. Your brothers and sisters.
Pull ahead. Open participant. More options for participants drop.
Oh.
All right. Would you guys prefer a demo, or do you just want to hear about the participants list?
What you think are the important things
Given that we've
for
only
us,
got a few,
because there are just hundreds and hundreds of choices. We don't need to
and that's the
know
thing.
them all, do we? Just the important.
Yeah, so I'll try and convert this into smartphone type language so that you're you'll be able to do these things on your smartphone. But the participants panel, I think the smartphone app calls it participants list. You can go in there and look at who's in the meeting. So if you've joined a really big meeting, you're not sure who's there, go in there. If you are moderating or hosting the meeting, you'll actually be able to ask someone to speak. So ask them to unmute, and that will come through if you're a screen reader user and you get asked to unmute your microphone. That'll be announced by the screen reader. Or if someone is in the waiting room, you would use a participants list to...
What is this waiting room? I've heard other people talking about. What is a waiting room?
So it depends how the organizer has set the meeting up, but basically you're in like a waiting room until they let you into the main room. And I guess it's a security thing, so that only the people who...
Ola? You know, I was in a college English class.
Yeah.
They were using waiting room when they are dividing us to groups in 2 or 3 people. They let us go to the waiting rooms in order to discuss the subject together.
Yes.
Then we come back to the group.
Yeah, so you can set up different rooms, like if you want people to work in small groups. Yeah, so it's a similar concept. So you don't have to use a waiting room, but sometimes it can be good just so you know that whoever's coming into the meeting is supposed to be there. So the waiting room will be in the participants list or panel, and there's an admit button beside each participant. You just need to select that and they'll be moved into the main meeting room. And
right.
also,
so it's like having an extra room.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we don't have a waiting room on this meeting, but yeah, a lot of them do. I think that might be the default for Zoom at the moment. So yeah, for a screen reader user, the participants list just tells you who's there. If you're using a computer, you can press Control and the number 2, and that will tell you who's speaking at any one time as well. So that can be handy if you hear a voice and you're not sure who it belongs to. Pressing Control 2 will tell you.
Sorry, Nicole. Just to let you know of the times, we have 10 minutes left.
Yep.
But maybe we can have some time for questions from people as well. So just
absolutely. That's one thing I wanted to talk about actually is raising your hand. So on your smartphone, in the more under the More button, so if you double tap on that, you'll have a lot of different options, one of which is chat, and then raising your hand as well. And that just tells the host that you want to speak.
Oh, that's under reactions on mine.
On the computer, yeah, depends what kind of app you're using, I guess. But yeah, reactions or more. Yeah, so you can raise your hand. I know on the desktop app you can do things like clap or add another reaction. yeah, and on the desktop, it's Alt-Y to do that as your keyboard shortcut there. But yeah, let's take some questions or comments.
Hi guys, I've got to go. Unfortunately, I've got to meet someone. So apologies, I'm going to have to leave the meeting, but hopefully.
No worries. Thanks for coming, Dave.
I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Thanks for that. Cheers now.
Bye.
Hola.
Yeah, name it's Nicole. Sorry.
Oh,
that's okay though.
Yeah, sorry.
That's right.
You know, when sometimes you are hosting the Zoom and you unmute you mute everyone.
Yep.
Then later, because they don't know how to unmute us, they are asking us to mute us ourselves.
To unmute.
To unmute ourselves in order to talk.
Yeah.
And, how to do that? Because sometimes if they mute me, for example, I can do it myself. If
yeah, you should be able to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I think maybe in some rooms they can, like I know some webinar type talks where they lock the mute and unmute.
To unmute, but
Yeah, if you can, you should be able to double tap that mute button.
Oh yeah, I remember going and seeing doing one of these virtual tours, and they had a mute button that you couldn't. It was only the host that could unmute, which is understandable.
Yeah, so sometimes that is the case. But if they're expecting you to unmute, then you should be able to.
Yeah, but madam, sometimes they are not. They mute us, but they can't unmute us. They say we cannot unmute you from here. Unmute yourself from your.
Yeah, so then you would swipe to the mute button and double tap it, and it should unmute you there. So sometimes, are you talking about on your smartphone or your iPad or on the computer, Naima?
All of them actually, because if I can use the computer later, I will try these things actually.
Yeah, so it's Alt and A. So you hold down Alt and press A, and that will mute or unmute you.
Okay.
On the computer.
Thank you.
Have we got any more questions?
Well, Nicole,
Yep.
I'm trying to summarize, let's say, and then see if we can enable Gary, for example. He was struggling to join in Zoom. So Gary, I'm going to ask a question on behalf of you. So let's say, Gary goes to the link, he clicks on it, and then the software opens up. And just for in very simple terms, what to do next? Once you click on the link, how would you go about navigating?
Yeah, so sometimes it will open up Safari if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, and you'll need to find the open Zoom or launch Zoom button. And so that can be a bit tricky. Hopefully it should open the Zoom app and you should connect straight away. But yeah, perhaps that is the problem, that it's opening up a web page rather than going straight to Zoom.
Is it because of the settings? Can we some settings beforehand?
Yeah, we tweaked the internet audio setting to make sure that it wasn't asking Gary to whether he wanted to phone in or use computer audio. But that would be the only setting. From there, because we don't have a waiting room, it should automatically bring Gary in. We don't have a passcode either, so there's no challenges there.
Okay.
Yeah. But perhaps, I'm happy to go through with Gary joining in a practical way so we can sort this out.
Some practice maybe would help. Thank you.
Another thing that you might be interested in is that you can record meetings like we're doing now. So to refer back to them in future or to post them as videos. But you can also give somebody else control of your computer. Now, obviously, you'd only want to do that with somebody you know well. But basically, if you're having a problem with your technology or your screen reader stops doing something that it should be, you can enable remote assistance. And so that means someone sitting at their computer can actually manipulate yours through Zoom. So I thought that might be handy for you to know about if you do get into problems, especially in this pandemic time where you may not be able to have someone come to your home. Just be aware that you can give someone else access or remote access to your computer.
Oh yeah, we use that when the host comes on and then he hands, because he doesn't want to stay, he hands it over to somebody else for our meetings. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so that's more of a host thing, but you can actually give another participant control of your computer.
Oh, right.
So they might be able to like fix a setting for you or help you use the screen reader. It's a bit of a get out of trouble thing if you get really stuck, just to know about. You can't do it with a smartphone, unfortunately, but yeah, you can with a computer.
And where's that? That's in settings, is it?
It's in one of the.
I think there is another application as well. You can add, and you can share with the people who are helping. Then they can manipulate the whole device.
Yeah, that's right. So you can give the person control.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the share screen button.
Yeah.
When I want to share screen, I can do that. But there's also, a sub button there which says multiple participants can share simultaneously. So it's just one click in there, and you can actually enable others to share.
Yeah. The other thing to mention with the screen share is that if someone is sharing their screen with you, you won't be able to access that content with a screen reader. So it's a good idea to let people know if they are going to share content to get that to you in some other way, whether it be an email or something like that, because the screen share isn't accessible. But if you're a visually impaired moderator or host, you can definitely share your screen. Yeah.
Nicole?
Yes, go ahead.
If someone is, let's say, for example, because I called you and I shared my computer with you in order to repair it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say, for example, if you go to somewhere I don't want you to go to, and do I have
yes,
in order to stop?
Yes, you can stop it by pressing Alt and S. You can definitely stop it, and that's something you'd want to be aware of to make sure that you're in control and you can stop it at any time.
How to do that now, or?
Yes, but we don't have time to demonstrate that, unfortunately, but we could do a follow-up session when I've sorted out all my technical issues and revisit that.
Okay, thank you.
Nicole, I have a quick question. Once you do record kind of a session, right? Where do you access the recording on Zoom? If you can just quickly highlight that.
Yeah, so I think that when you install Zoom on your PC, it's got a default folder in your documents. It'll be called Zoom. You can change the location of where it saves the recordings, but you'll have a folder in your documents folder that's called Zoom, and in there are the recordings, and it sorts them by date. So you can go through that folder. You can rename them as well so that you know what is what. But the default is to sort them by a date and time.
There would be some sort of legal implications to recording something, wouldn't there? Presumably you have to say beforehand that you're about to record something. You certainly do.
You would
if you're
have to
having
ask permission of the attendees.
That'd be if you're doing live music or anything like that, wouldn't it? If you're doing like
I
stuff
think
from
you have to
YouTube
ask
or
for
whatever.
anything, because even if you're going to record a telephone message, you have to tell them, don't you? Or ask
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I think we can end the session as we are out of time. First of all, thank you so much for everyone and Nicole.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you,
much.
Nicole.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
I
you,
would
Nicole.
certainly
Thanks for
like a
sticking with me.
follow-up at some point. That
Yeah,
was really good.
yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you,
And
Nick.
see you, maybe see you tomorrow.
Yes,
Yes.
tomorrow. Yes,
Tomorrow
please.
we have a call at
All
12.
right, for the
Yeah, we've got
usual.
our
Yeah,
social thing tomorrow, haven't we?
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
12 o'clock.
Bye bye.
just
Bye
quickly,
bye.
bye-bye. Just quickly to say, we have this recording of this session on our YouTube channel, VIP
Right.
World Services. So
Right.
if you would like to go over it, please do head on to the YouTube channel. Likewise, if you have further inquiries and you would like to kind of follow up, please reach us at our socials at VIP World Services or via email. If you
Just just please leave the link on WhatsApp group.
yes,
Yeah,
we'll
can you
share
put
it
our,
on the WhatsApp. Yes.
We
can
can
say,
share
can
it.
you put the link on there?
Yes, following this session, Nima, we will record and post it on YouTube and send the link on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you
Right.
so much.
Or
Yeah, so you can
on,
access it afterwards if you'd like to go over something.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
perfect.
is that only on the WhatsApp or is that on the page, the Facebook page?
Yes, both. We will put we'll put everywhere. So some people use Facebook, some are using WhatsApp. We'll put that in Facebook community, Facebook page,
And
WhatsApp.
YouTube
Yeah.
as well. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Lovely.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining. And
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.